Hello guys, welcome to Showtopia, and today I'm excited to show you my OCG Exosister deck profile. I know TCG is also getting the new support, the two cards, Marufa and Litania, and these two cards have changed the deck a lot in terms of consistency and just pure strength. For those who don't know about this archetype Exosister, this archetype basically punishes decks that revolve around graveyard. So a lot of monster recursions or recycling cards, any of those kind of movements will activate our cards, the Exosister cards, and they Exceed summon into a stronger warrior monster. And they have very strong effects where they can basically, one can lock graveyards, one can imperm, and one can just remove cards on the field, and it's a very fun deck to play. Before Marufa and Litania came out, the deck really relied on the opponent's movement, so the combos weren't too consistent. But the new cards, they help a lot with your movement because now you can just activate whenever you want. So for example, if you use DD Crow and banish any card on either of our graveyards, then that will still activate Malfa, which is a huge game changer because you can time stuff however you want now. And so, yeah, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Alright, so let's get started. I will start off from the main deck. So obviously first we will start off with 3 Exosister Malfa. Basically what she does is she can special summon from your hand, and she also special summons Exosister Ellis from the deck. Her other effect is basically a better version of all the other Exosister, where instead of it being activated with opponent's cards, it can also activate with your cards. So if you use DD Crow, it will activate Malfa and she can just Exceed summon into a Exosister monster, Exceed monster. So this is very strong. This is an obvious 3 of. Then we have 3 Ellis. I put 3 of her because she can special summon from your hand, which is very strong because as long as you have 1 Exosister on the field, you can just yeet this onto the board. Up next, we have Exosister Stella. Her effect is as long as you have a Exosister monster in your hand, you can just activate her effect and special summon that monster directly to the field. And if it's Ellis, you gain 800 life. Next up, we have 2 Sophia. This can be a brick card. I put her to 2 because I don't want 2 Sophias in my hand. If I have 2 Sophias in my hand, I can't summon my extra monster. And this deck is an Xyz deck after all, so you really need your materials to special summon. If you can have her draw that extra card, she is very strong, and drawing cards is pretty essential in this deck. Lastly, for the Exosister, we have 1 Irene. I just run 1 Irene just because she is a brick as well. If you have 2 of her in hand, you can't really do anything. I guess you can send it back to draw 1, but you know, it's not going to ensure you the combo. Now, that's it for the Exosister monsters. So, you know, this is OCG, so we are running 3 Maxis. Next up, we have, you know, your obvious Ash, 3 Ash. Next, we have 2 Ghost Bell. Originally, I was playing Veiler. I played 2 Veilers, but I switched to Ghost Bell because the current meta is everything's graveyard. Oh, special summon from the graveyard. Oh, I'm going to send these cards back to the graveyard. Oh, I'm going to banish these 2 cards from the graveyard. And you guys probably already know by now, but you know the tier laments? Everyone's using that deck right now, and I mean like almost everyone. So because of that, 2 Ghost Spell can be kind of handy. Once again, because the current meta revolves around graveyard right now, I run 3 D-Shifter, and this deck doesn't matter if your materials go to banish. You mainly get the materials from your deck, not your graveyard. So it doesn't matter. So we run 3 of her. So yeah, that's basically it for the monsters. We will run 3 Exosister packs. It searches anything. It searches any of your Exosister. This is just obviously a 3 of. You can also search spell and trap cards as well. So this is a staple 3. You need this. I run 1 Exosister Armament. I'm sorry. I don't know the English name, but Exosister Aumento. I run this at 1 because This card is kind of a brick, to be honest. The other reason is because this is searchable with Pax or Michaelis, so this card is to 1. Now for the staple cards, 2 pots. This deck is an Xyz deck, so I need to find my material. You really need Malfa in your hand to start. So next we have 2 called by. I don't need to talk about this. This is just obvious. I run 2 triple tactics, 1 crossout. So OCG is restricted to 1 crossout per deck. So yeah. Now I will go to the trap cards. I run 2 Exosister Vadis. I think that's how you say it. I think like almost everyone run 3 Vadis, but I run this to 2 because since I don't run 3 Irene or 3 Sophia, this card can gas you out a lot. And for the support card, this card, Exosister Titania, this card is really good. As long as you only have Exosister monster on the field, which is not a problem, you just pay 800 life and you can banish 1 card on opponent's field or grave. In addition, you can Xyz summon into using your monsters on the field, or banish another card on the field if you've already Xyz summoned that turn. So most of the time it will proc because the opponent's going to do something with the graveyard, then your Exosister is going to turn into the Xyz monster, then you pop this, then you can it's free to 2 cards banish. Lastly, we got 3 Imperm. You need hand traps to survive in the meta. But yeah, that's basically it for the main deck. So I will move on to the extra deck. So moving on to the extra deck, we will be playing 2 Exosister Magnifica. They are very strong. She banishes any card without targeting, and then she can transform into one of the materials underneath her, and that already like helps activate Exosister Titania, right, the additional effect. So this card is very good, and she can attack twice, guys. She can attack twice with 28 power, so she's swinging for 56 if you clear their board. And then we're running 3 Michaelis. I run 3 of her because she's just useful. She can search and she has field removal. So she searches for any Exosister spell or trap card, and you target 1 card from field or grave and you can just banish it. I really love using her. Now I run 2 Exosister Asofiru. She's one of the grave lockers. When she is special summoned, both players cannot activate effects from graveyard. So this is pretty strong against a lot of meta decks, including like Eldritch too. And she can bounce cards too, which is pretty good. Now we run 2 Caspitel. She can search for any Exosister monster. So this is actually one of the ideal Exosisters to special summon if you realize that the opponent doesn't have hand trap. Your ideal board is going to be through her effect going first. So yeah, we run 2 of her. Then we play 1 Exosister Gibberine. She is an Imperm essentially. I just run her at 1 though because she's not used a lot. I think late game maybe, or if you just want to swing for a very high number, you can just use her effect and pump all your Xyz. So just 1 of her. And now we have the Zeus, right? Zeus. You swing, boom, pass. I run 1 Gagaga Magician. I haven't thought about this card too much. I kind of just shoved this in, but he can special summon one of your Exosister from your grave, so you can just, go off of your combo again. Now for the links, I run 1 Lina, and then you can link off into Selene, and all your Exosister monsters in the main deck are Spellcaster, so you can just special summon. You don't have to worry about having Valor in the grave or anything like that. And then Access Code. I don't think I need to talk about this card. Access Code is just Access Code. It's the big daddy in the deck. Alright, so that's it for the extra deck. Honestly, side deck, The meta is very different here, so you can just adjust this however you want in the format you're playing. But first, we will start off with 3-dimensional barrier. I run 2 Gozen, 2 Dark Ruler, then I run 3 Lightning Storm, 2 Nib, and lastly, I run 2 Ghost Ogre. This is almost 100% for Splite, and that basically wraps up for the side deck. Alright guys, so now I'll be showing you the basic combo using the new cards in Power of Elements. So what you need is Malfa in your hand. Obviously this is the best Exosister in the deck, and you can just have another Exosister in your hand. Ideally Sophia would be nice because that extra draw is pretty useful. So first you obviously just activate Malfa from hand, and when you special summon her, she will special summon Ellis from the deck. And then now you Exceed into Exosister Caspitel, and what she allows you to do, she would search any Exosister monster from your deck. So you would use her effect, detach, and search for a Exosister monster. And you want to search for Exosister Ellis because she can special summon from your hand. So once she is in your hand, you have Sophia and Ellis. You haven't normal summoned yet. So you want to normal summon Sophia, and then you activate Ellis's effect to special summon her from hand. Now you can use Sophia's effect to draw 1 card. So you draw. Oh, if you draw an Imperm, nice. If you draw into any hand traps, that'll be very nice. Now you can Exceed once again into Michaelis. Now Michaelis' effect, she can banish 1 card the turn she Exceed summoned. But in this case, you're not really doing that. So you would use her other effect to detach. Then you can search for a Exosister spell or trap card. So in this case, you will be searching for Exosister Titania. Now you will Exceed into Exosister Magnifica. Now you have your monster board set. So all you need to do is you set these 2 cards, and you're ready to go. So on your opponent's turn, you can just immediately snipe with Magnifica, detach a material. Most of the time you want to keep Michaelis, so I would detach Caspitel. Once you detach Caspitel, she can banish any card on the opponent's field, so you can just snipe their whatever they put on the board. And then when the opponent activates another effect, you chain with Magnifica. You can transform into Michaelis. So basically what happens is the Michaelis goes back to the extra deck, and then she just Exceed summon over Magnifica. So it'll be like this. This is what happens. Now you have an extra banish. You can activate Titania if they continue to do other stuff. And Titania, the first thing, you pay 100 and you can banish a card on field or grave. And then, since you technically already Exceed summon with using Magnifica's effect, the Titania's other effect will trigger. You can banish another card. Guys, that is 4 cards. That is banishing 4 cards in opponent's turn. At this point, if your opponent can still play through this, then your opponent is just cracked. So yeah, that is basically it for the main combo. Yeah, that's the main setup you want to do in this deck. So yeah, let's move on. Alright, so now this combo that I'm about to show you, this is basically an optimal move to avoid getting Nibiru'd. As you saw earlier, this deck is pretty easy to get into Nib range when you have your ideal board set up, and we don't want to get a rock thrown at your face. So this combo will limit you to 4 summons, but it's basically the optimal strategy to still at least do something during opponent's turn. So to do this combo, it will be nice if you have a Malfa or a Titania in hand. And you can search these with packs, so if you have a Pax in your hand, then you can just, use that instead. So you first special summon her and Ellis, and then we Exceed into Caspitel, then we use Caspitel's effect to detach, and we will search for another Malfa here. So we search a Malfa, and then all we do is we normal summon Malfa, which is the 4th summon, then we set our Titania. So on your opponent's turn, all you do is basically you want Malfa to proc. and if they decide to use their graveyard and just move stuff, then she will automatically activate, so you don't have to use this trap card. But basically, if they don't touch their graveyard because they're scared of Malfa activating, then you can activate Litania at least. Pay 800, and you can banish, since you only have Exosister monster on field, you can banish a card on field or grave. So you want to banish something in the opponent's grave, and after resolution, Malfa will automatically activate. And then she will Exi summon into, I guess we can go into Michaelis, and you will get an extra banish. So even with the optimal 2-card combo, you can still banish at least 2 cards. But yeah. So that is basically it for this video. This deck is very fun against a lot of the decks that are played right now. This card will allow you to at least banish 4 cards. And then Malfa is just an amazing combo starter. This card, if you just have this card in hand, you're basically good to go. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you guys are kind enough to push that subscribe button or like button, that would be very much appreciated. And I hope to see you guys in the next video.